Israelis and Palestinians have been longtime enemies, but for mothers who are desperate to save their sick children, the conflict takes a back seat. An Israeli clinic is saving thousands of lives of youngsters from many neighboring countries, even those Israel has tense relationships with. Archie's Paula Sleer reports.
Every hour is touch and go for 14-month Abdullah, whose little heart was born with a hole in it.
Without the operation in this hospital, my son would have died.
And in the next ward, 14-year-old Roniel, who was almost dead when she was wheeled in. One of 5 Iraqi children flown from Baghdad to Amman and then driven across the border to Jerusalem.
She was almost dead. She was so sick that she could not walk. She barely talked. She was very blue.
These parents faced the most difficult decision of their lives: bring their children to Israel, a country at war with theirs, and risk punishment and even death back home, or prepare for the alternative, possibly losing their child.
Initially it was very difficult for them because Israel was the enemy country. The parents were very anxious. They didn't know what to expect.
I was very scared to come to Israel, very frightened.
And she had good reason to be. Her country, Iraq, forbids its citizens from traveling to Israel.
They just fly them. There might be a layover in another country. Like I know, for instance, from Africa, they come in through Ethiopia because it's the only place in Africa that flies to Israel.
But for the Israeli doctors that treat these Arab children, the decision is simple.
I'm doing what I think is right to do. I'm treating kids that need treatment.
In the last 15 years, more than 2,500 children have been brought here, sponsored and treated. Half of them come from Gaza. The rest come from Iraq, Indonesia and across Africa.
The main goal of this organization is to help developing countries create the medical ability to treat children with heart problems by themselves. In order to achieve that, we bring children from these developing countries to Israel. We also bring doctors from these developing countries for training here in Israel.
And it's a vision that's paying off. Not only is Saidi eternally grateful to the Israeli doctors that saved her daughter's life, she's now brave enough to tell her neighbors back home.
I will tell everyone we were in Israel and how they saved my daughter's life. I'm no longer afraid to say it because my daughter is alive.
And so, while the politicians continue to have a go at each other and Israel and her Arab neighbors grow further apart, on the ground, at least in this spot, a very different story is unfolding. Paula Sleer, RT, Holon.